welcome to the Wheelie Good stable. It's been ages since I've done one of these, and I did think recently it's about time I did one of these, but then I thought I sort of need a bit of an excuse. I've got no new bikes that you don't know about, sort of thing, but the excuse is it's absolutely pouring of rain outside, it's gushing wind, it's just shit. So that's why I'm doing it. And that's also the reason I didn't get that job as a weather forecaster. So follow me. We'll have a little chat about the bikes. I'll tell you about a couple of little purchases, a few little updates, which I might not have already mentioned on the videos. So my dearly beloved wife is doing the camera for me today. She's very good, isn't she? So over here, well, sort of keeping on the theme of elements, really. First of all, you may have seen a video I did back a few months back, actually. I bought one of those fence sprayers and I ACF50'd all my 3 bikes. And for the first time this winter, I know that my bikes in this damp stable I have here, they're going to be totally protected. Obviously, the BMW, which we'll come on to in a minute, that is protected anyway. It has the PPF, ACF50, everything on it. But things like the Street Triple, which I mean, this kills me because I only ride this bike 3 or 4 times a year. But I know it's fully protected in here. It's actually sitting here, as you can see, sparkling, shining. It looks brand new. Well, it pretty much is. I've done less than 1,000 kilometers on this bike this year. Bit of a sin. But to be honest, every time I walk in here and just look at it, as long as I can afford to keep it there, then no blue pills needed when I look at this bike. You know what I mean? It just does it for me. And then when I ride it, see, we're going off on one of them tangents already. You know what I'm like. So he's a mucky old boy. He's the mucky old boy. I think we should move on. Oh, yeah. A lot of you have been asking, do you not use Chiggy screens anymore? This is my Chiggy. There's nothing wrong with it. The Chiggy system is absolutely brilliant. This is 5 inches. Oh, you see, I'm off on it again. Stop it. Compared to the 7 inches, which is the Auchi, which is what I have on the GSA now. Like I say, we'll go over there. But I have Auchi screens on all my bikes. Not for any reason other than, well, the work, as does the Chiggy. But the 7-inch screen on the GSA just really, I think, looks the part. It sits in the cockpit beautifully. And with this aging old cameraman's eyesight, those extra few inches do help. So that's the only reason. There's nothing wrong with the Chiggy system. It's brilliant. Anything else back here? Oh, yeah, that's my little sort of glove rack there. As you can see, I've never had a proper pair of sort of all year round leather gloves. I've the racing gloves on the end, and when I had the Royal Enfield, I had the brown gloves there. But if you come, actually don't turn the camera around that way because there's something really embarrassing in this garage, which I don't want anybody to see. Actually turn around very quickly, we'll have a look. Yes, it's an electric bicycle. Okay, back to me very quickly before the audience switches off. It's an electric bicycle and it's not mine. But what I did treat myself to this year is, well, actually just last week, Black Friday special, this is, my first pair of all year round, well, not winter gloves. So 3 out of 4 seasons is a pair of Merlin gloves. I was sort of waiting for the price to be reduced. Got 30 quid off them on a Black Friday deal. So delighted with them. It's pointless doing a review about this sort of stuff until I've worn them for at least 1,000 kilometers and had a good few trips out on them. Actually, on that note, I've also got a new lid on the way. But again, I'm not going to talk about how good I think it's going to be until, you know, next year, when I've had a few journeys out with that sort of stuff. The other thing I wanted to mention, if you come over here, actually, no, stay there for the moment and I'll show you if I can find them. So, I have mentioned this on a previous post, but I'm the first, as I always say, I'm the first when I get something wrong to hold my hands up and say, I got it wrong. So these are the cheap bar risers I bought for the GSA off Temu or AliExpress, one of those ones anyway. A load of you at the time said, don't do that, are you mad? Why are you doing that when you're spending 32 grand on a bike? And my simple answer was, because I've bloody well spent enough. So I went with them and I thought, what can go wrong? It's one solid block of aluminium, like it's not going to snap. But what I hadn't realized, I was getting slight vibration. Now, I know I've talked about this, so I'll keep it brief. I've talked about it in another post. I was getting slight vibration. And when I took them off, when I say vibration, I mean up my forearms. And when I took them off, I noticed in the threads where the screws, the supplied screws go, I noticed in the threads that there were aluminium shavings of metal from the steel bolts which go through the aluminium block. I just thought, my God, if those threaded in there, I mean, that's where the problem is. So I shouldn't even be keeping them on my desk. They will be going to be used as a doorstop, or maybe I could throw them at people or something who piss me off on the road when I'm riding around on my motorcycle and cut me up. That's what I'll do. I'll keep them as a weapon. I'll probably edit that bit out. You never know. I'll see how I feel when I'm editing the video. So what I did get, thanks to a subscriber called Emmett, he said, what you need is the Wunderlich ones from Germany. So if you can get the camera in here down, you see them there. So not only do they rise up, they also sweep back. And I can't tell you how amazing the riding position is on here. Do you want to get a quick shot of my 7 inches up here as well? Just in case everybody's wondering what it looks like. There you go. Very good. My wife, by the way, is totally used to me at this stage being smutty. And so that's pretty much it for the bike stuff. As well as the gloves. Now I have a full video coming next week, so I won't go into it too much on this video. But Ride Iron, who you may remember, I've reviewed their stuff before. I really like their stuff. I think it's good quality stuff. They've sent me bags. They've sent me heated gloves a couple of years ago. They've sent me a whole new range of heated gear for the winter. In fact, fancy that. Look what I'm wearing. That actually just happened by accident. Seriously, this wasn't planned. I've just realized I'm wearing it now. So I'm wearing this. As you can see, this is totally genuine, by the way. I did not produce this. So I'm wearing this all day long now. I really like the cut of it. I really like the style of it. And it's heated front and back. Now, when you wear this underneath one of your protective motorcycle jackets, as I have been doing to make the review, which is coming next week on the channel, it really traps the heat in, and I love it. Okay, I absolutely love it. But as well as that, who knew there was such a thing as heated knee warmers? Certainly not me. So if you're an old one and your knees are getting knobbly, these will really help you out. What was the other thing they sent me? Another pair of updated heated gloves. So yeah, I won't go into it on this video. Tune in next week for that one. Now, when I come in here, I remember at one stage I had 5 bikes of my own, and then there was always a sort of borrowed bike, a review bike in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put the 5 lights up there on the ceiling, and I had at one stage a bike underneath every light. And it was my little showroom. It was my little sense of achievement, maybe. I've only got the 3 bikes, as you can see, but quite often this year I've had many loan bikes coming in and out. But the 3 bikes for me, you know, especially these 3 bikes, you saw that I acquired this over the summer. I just couldn't help it. As soon as I rode that new 300 Rally, I was on the way home from the showroom to borrow that for a month. And as soon as I was riding that 300 Rally, I just thought I knew I had to get back into one of these. The L suits me more than the Rally just because of the size of it. And something about being less plastic on the L. You know, if you drop it, you know you're not going to have hefty repair bills for all the plastic, which a Rally has. But between the 3 bikes, I mean, it goes without saying, well, you know how I feel about this. Oh my God, I'm totally in love with it. It does everything and more which I want from any bike. That's my all year round touring in absolute luxury bike. And as Sinead O'Connor famously sang, nothing compares to you. And that's pretty much it for that bike. What I would love, and I put out on a Facebook forum recently, you know, the internet is great for some things, but it's really bloody annoying for others. So I went on to a 1300 GSA forum on Facebook asking, does anybody know, is there such a thing as a tank bag which is smaller than this? Not something which you have to put a tank ring on, ideally using the BMW fittings. Now I suspect I'm going to have to wait for BMW to release a smaller bag, because this for everyday riding around is just a little bit too big, especially when I've got the reverse camera on here when I'm doing the YouTube and looking back at me. You can just see a lot of this bag, and I don't need that amount of tank bag, especially when I've got all the other bags everywhere on here. Now, the reason I have these on and keep them on all year round is for protection, in case I go over on the bike. But the tank bag, it's a little bit too big. I'd love something, this is 12 litres. I'd love something 6 litres, 8 litres, with a lower, flatter profile. And I've said clearly on this Facebook post, but I don't want a tank bag with a tank ring, because I'd still like to be able to use this on longer trips away. And therefore, if I have a tank ring, this won't sit flush and this won't work anymore. So apparently there's no such thing. But the amount of people who said, yeah, use SW Motec, use this one, use that one. And I had to respond to all of them. I got sick of it in the end. And I said, just consider this post cancelled. I said, yeah, but, you know, I've just said clearly about the tank ring. The dog is crying outside. I'm a little bit worried that he's out in this howling wind, pouring rain. But I remember the back door is open, so that's not a euphemism. Why do I always go off on them? Is it something to do with my wife being here on the camera? I think my wife brings out the worst in me. I just get terrible smutty when she's around. Actually, talking of the 3 bikes, I know if you live in the UK, you have your MOTs over there for motorbikes. We don't have that in Ireland. We still don't have, well, in Ireland, when you have your car MOT, it's called an NCT. So we don't have any system like that for motorbikes. Can you believe it? So in terms of keeping more bikes than 3, it's a lot easier because we don't have to MOT, NCT them. All I have to do every year with however many bikes I want is to tax them and to insure them and to service them. So it's very easy to keep any amount of bikes without having to go off and NCT them, like you would have to do in the UK. Apparently, because it's an EU direct, Ireland gets fined every year from the EU for not implementing an MOT NCT scheme for motorbikes. But apparently it's cheaper for Ireland to pay the fine from the EU than it is to implement the whole testing system. There you go. You gotta love Ireland. I know I do. What else was I going to talk about there? Oh yeah, January's a busy month coming up because my 3 bikes all require service in January. So this, the CRF will be having its 1,000 kilometre service. Feels as though I've done an awful lot more riding on that bike, but then really I've just been in the fields around here. I haven't been on any distance sort of rides yet on the CRF. Probably won't ever do that, not when I have these other bikes. And the GSA needs its 10,000 kilometre service done in January, and then the Street Triple RS, that needs its annual. Like I say, it's done less than 1,000 kilometres this year. It's an absolute sin. Folks, that's pretty much it. That's my stable update. What I would like to say is if you're looking at numbers on my YouTube channel, you'll realise that very soon I'll be hitting the big 2-0, the big 20,000 subscribers. Now, TMF told me years ago, Dave, never get consumed by the, or never get caught up with the figures on your YouTube channel because they will consume you. And I've stood to that, you know, and I've remembered those words. But many of you know that Trev, my Scottish friend, who was the first genuine subscriber to this channel, he keeps reminding me when there's sort of big sort of anniversaries or numbers coming up on the channel. The 5,000 was one, the 10. He brought a bottle of whiskey over from Scotland to give me when the channel hit 10,000. And then, so here we are. We're nearly at 20,000 subscribers. And I suppose when I started off this channel over 5 years ago now, if anybody had said to me, and I remember thinking this figure, where would you like the channel? What would your dream figure be for the channel to hit? It was 20,000 subscribers, and we're nearly there. I think we're a couple of hundred subscribers off that. So, you know, I'd like to gush, not just about the motorbikes, but I'd like to gush to you for your support. Huge, huge thank you for your support. And of course to my Patreons as well, who are now called the Wheelie Faithful. I just love that name for them. We ran a competition over the summer as to what we were going to be called. Many of you will know Bruce Teapot one. He calls his Patreons the Clan. So I sort of wanted a name for my Patreons, and we have a great bunch now. My patrons get to see all the videos first, as well as me asking their advice. I think it's supposed to work the other way around, where they're allowed to ask me advice. More often than not, I'm asking their advice about stuff. So huge thanks to the patrons. And don't forget, for the price of a pint or a cup of coffee or even a slice of carrot cake, which is my favourite, you too could become every month. You too could become a Patreon. But other than that, I just want to thank you all for being here. Massively appreciate it. And even days like this, when I can't get out and ride, you know, I feel as though I have a purpose, a sense of purpose. When I come into my stable and look at these three beauties, you know, would I have three beauties like that if I wasn't YouTubing? I often ask myself this question. Probably not. I'd probably just have one beauty. Don't ask me which one. It's fairly obvious. Yeah, the fact that I can sort of stand here chatting away to camera, my beautiful wife filming me and my beautiful bikes behind me, that's all down to doing this YouTube lark, which I absolutely love. Okay, I shall be back next week with the heated the heated video, and then I think the week after that it's my Christmas special, Father Dave's Christmas Mass, and then I'll be taking a bit of time off. But until then, have a great week, everybody. Ride safe. Dave Perry, Wheelie Good TV. It's a wrap.